Jabba with James, and we are here once again with the GOAT, Scott Dixon. What are we drinking?
I don't even know. I threw a few mentions out there.
A few mentions? You got a few different options? Oh, there's some foam in it.
Last time, yours is very little. What happened?
Oh, no, they give me like a half cup because I know I'm just going to throw it out anyway.
Oh.
I don't
know. I think it's going to be perfectly fine.
What is it, like a cappuccino or?
Yeah, maybe a latte, maybe.
Have a sip and tell me what you think it is.
I think it's just a latte. I think it's safe. Last time we had tea, right? I think mine's a decaf.
Here's the thing, man. We've been doing this for a couple years now. I've tried lattes, cappuccinos, I've tried espressos, I've tried cortados. I'm learning. I don't know.
Mexican dish or something.
Right? Flat whites. I'm just trying to remember names. And I have come to two conclusions. One is they all taste exactly the same, and two is they all taste terrible.
Yeah, like
not at all. Not even remotely. No. The irony of this show is that they force me to drink something that they know I hate.
Did you like the tea I had?
Better than the coffee. I don't really drink tea either. I drink tea occasionally, but like not really. Are you a big tea guy?
It depends, but yeah, like we live in England a little bit.
I was going to say,
it's
like,
kind of forced upon you.
It just has to happen.
Everything is a tea break. Every 5 minutes is a tea break. I feel like I drink none in America, and then when I go there, I'll probably have 15 a day.
15 a day?
Yeah, it's just the normal thing to do.
That's got to be an exaggeration, though.
No. Yeah, probably.
But it's
depends
like,
on the day.
But like 5 to 10?
Yeah, at least.
So it's their smoke break. It's like the new smoke break.
Yeah, smoko.
Smoko, yeah. So you didn't grow up drinking tea?
New Zealand, yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that.
Mostly tea over coffee, I would say.
Yeah. So now your half life in England has revived your love for tea. No, you tolerate it because you don't do it when you come back. So
I just want to fall in line, be part of the pack. You know?
What's the current split for you guys living in the States versus England?
Kind of depends. We're trying to fade back out of it, but I would say I'm kind of there only end of September, middle of September through to February.
Okay.
And we kind of go back and forth a little bit. But the kids are here for summer, they're here for Easter. With their school schedule, they get a lot of time here. So it's actually the hardest part is like maybe the lead up to May where it's the end of their school year, and
right.
It's like whether it's for this year for Poppy, she's doing high school certificate, GCSE, so that's
right.
She can't travel as much.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so does Kit just follow mom, or does Kit kind of bounce back and forth?
Well, Kit's back in school, or is in school now full time.
Right. So is he in school here or in England?
No, he's in England.
Okay.
It was just me and him in Indy.
Right.
Which was pretty comical. Just the two of us hanging out. I would take him actually to daycare at like 8 or 9 a.m. and then pick him up at 2.
Yeah.
Just give me enough time to work out, do all the stuff I needed to.
Yeah.
But now he's, he needs a strict school. He's in a strict school. He doesn't really like all the rules.
Right. He's a bit of a free spirit.
I think it will help him adjust a little bit.
Get a little more structure.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you noticed him taking an interest in motorized vehicles?
He's always been mad about cars. I'm not super into cars as such. I love racing. I've always loved racing.
You're not like a car guy. You're
not
Graham.
Like Dario or Graham,
yeah.
That's big into collecting, all that kind of stuff, or super knowledgeable.
Right.
But Kit, even from early years, he'd be like, that's a Tesla, that's a Honda Odyssey. Like he'd be able to know the cars even before I would. And then he just started go-karting maybe a couple of weeks ago. So that was pretty fun.
He
was actually a lot more aggressive than I thought. It started out kind of timid, and then it changed pretty quick. So the red-haired genes definitely came through. He was a little aggressive.
So was this your idea? Was he asking? Was it Emma's idea? How did this happen? Why did this happen?
Well, it was kind of inevitable, but I tried to play it off a little bit. He always asked about it. He goes occasionally with friends, like indoor go-karting, just in the little carts, which is pretty funny because like they'll say at the start, when you're driving around, if you want to go faster, we'll turn the speed up. You just have to, put your thumb up. So like the whole time around, he's just
driving one-handed with his thumb up.
With his thumb up, like turn it up. It was already maxed out. But I'd say Emma probably pushed more for it than
really?
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was fun to get him out there. And Jay Howard actually helped. Another guy, Michael, that helped us out with the kart and all that kind of stuff just to try. And then we actually bought the go-kart, so now I guess that story has kind of started. So once he gets back in May and then through the summer, we'll do some go-karting, man.
Because how old is he now?
He's 5. Yeah.
So you can race at 5, right? There are like micro, mini, or something like that?
Yeah, there's lots of
some
different
class.
names. I feel like there's about 150 classes these days. When I grew up, there was like 6. So I think we'll start racing this summer.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
You've got a very busy summer, though.
Yeah, we got a couple of weekends up here and there.
Not many, man. Not many.
We can definitely make it out on like a Monday or Tuesday and then try and do a race weekend.
I mean, Emma can just follow along on a race weekend.
Emma should go do it, yeah.
She knows the deal.
Oh, yeah.
She'd be a great team boss.
She'd be a good
driver coach.
Go-kart parent.
It's so funny, man. I could totally just see that role becoming like, without you there with Kit in the cart, she's the one at the fence with the stopwatch
yelling at other parents, took Kid off the track. Yeah, it'd be pretty funny.
I always see on social media with all of Tilly's running, right? Because obviously that was Emma's thing.
Yep.
And she seems like the very enthusiastic parent at the sideline cheering her on.
It's hard not to, man.
Yeah.
Like I think once you're in like an environment of competition, it's been the same, with whether it's been the running or poppies, netball or hockey or kids go-karting. I think I don't know. But they strive for it too, which is kind of cool to see. Like Tilly is quite timid, but changes quickly once she's in the race mode. She gets so worked up. Most of the time she'll throw up at the starting line and then goes on to be super aggressive in the race and actually does quite well. So, yeah.
Did you ever have like pre-race nerves? So was that ever something you dealt with, or for you it was always kind of? Because I know it's something like that's not an uncommon thing, right? Drivers to feel that pit of the stomach thing right before a race, and then green flag drops and it's all business. But
I think the problem would be if you didn't have that feeling.
Oh, interesting.
Because I feel like I don't know, at least for me, I still get super nervous, depending on the event or how you're feeling or where you're starting. I'd say it's normally quite the same. But no, it's just wanting to compete, wanting to win, wanting to not to disappoint. Everybody gets nerves.
Are the nerves more present when it is a higher profile event, or when it's a better starting position, or maybe a worse starting position, but there's high expectation to improve, or is it all just kind of circumstantial?
I think they're all pretty similar, but factors for sure. Indy 500, you always go into it just mindset. It's just another race. We all know it's not just another race.
When you've been standing on the grid for 45 minutes with all the different stuff, okay, you accept it's not.
All your mates are flowing in, all the families here, sponsors, whatever it is. So it's like most of the season, right? The emotional roller coaster is very up and down. But there are more stressful moments. But as the saying goes, right, that's a privilege. We're lucky to be in that moment to be able to, one, try and achieve something really cool and do it together.
May is like its own kind of season in itself. It's like a mini season within the season, right? And you get that natural roller coaster, the peaks and valleys in a normal season, and you get the peaks and valleys throughout the month of May. You've been doing this enough now. How do you kind of approach the month in the sense of knowing that there's going to be bad days? How do you kind of get past those and kind of keep focused when it's not all just going smooth?
I think it's clear, you just got to put everything behind you, right? There's obviously no reason to dwell on the day before. Sure, you got to learn from it, but be positive as soon as you click off the next day. Try and work through it. I think there's a good part and a bad part of doing it for as long. Because one, a lot of things to expect. You've kind of been through the motions. It's very different from it. The rookie year where everything's fresh and bright and shiny, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. And then you'll have something coming up. You're like, oh, I got to do that again. But I think it's basically the same, right? You got to learn from the mistakes or the bad days, but move on quickly, because you can definitely, especially at that place when it was 2 or 3 weeks long, you can get in a downward spiral very fast.
Do you miss that old format?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of nice how quickly knock it out too now.
Do you miss it because it was like now there's so much stress on the 4 days of practice that you get that if one thing goes wrong or one day gets rained out, all of a sudden it's like a panic?
There's not much of a reset allowance now, right? It's pretty short, it's pretty quick. I like that. I think it's good. I think it's exciting for everybody. When you're living in Indy, people kind of always miss just being able to roll out for 2 weeks of practice or something like that. But it's stressful now, man. You know, it's very compact. Qualifying is stressful, 2 or 3 runs, or you know, whatever you have to do now is pretty full on.
Yeah. We just had the open test. How are things feeling after that going into May?
I was pretty happy.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah, day 1 a little bit better. There were some things that we did on day 2 that we couldn't really back ourselves out of on that day. So I think we're a little, you know, a little bit rough on the end of day 2. But I felt a whole lot better speed-wise than we were last year.
Right.
So we had a few issues last year.
What's your secret? What'd you fix over the winter?
Just more power from Honda.
Easy. Beautiful. All right, buddy. Thanks for chatting to us. Cheers for this terrible, terrible drink you're making me drink.
This one maybe needs some Splendor.